Hello again, and welcome back to FSD TV. I'm your host, Mark Sonny, and today we have Danielle Guerrero with us, who's going to read a book called Sky Color, and it's going to teach you a little bit about grit. So, Danielle, take it away.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Guerrero, and I'm from Valencia Park School. Thank you so much for joining us today because I have a really exciting lesson for you all about grit. So I know some of you might have heard your teachers talking about grit, and some of you even got certificates for showing grit. But what is grit, right? If you look on the screen, you can see what grit is. So the G in grit stands for give it your all. When you're showing grit, you should always give it everything you have. The R stands for redo it if necessary. Sometimes things don't come out the perfect way the first time, and you have to do it again, and that's okay. The I stands for ignore giving up. I know sometimes it's really easy when you're frustrated with something to just walk away and say, I can't do it. But when we show grit, we ignore that. And the T stands for take your time to do it right. And that one can be really hard too, because sometimes we just want to rush through things, but if you want to show grit, you have to really take your time when you do things. So we're going to read a story called Sky Color by Peter H. Reynolds. And in our story, our character Marisol, she shows grit. We're going to talk about the ways that she shows grit. And then we're going to talk about the ways that you can show grit too. Sky Color, Peter H. Reynolds. Marisol was an artist. She loved to draw and paint. And she even had her very own art gallery. Not all her art hung in a gallery. Much of it she shared with the world. She printed posters to share ideas she believed in. At school, Marisol was famous for her creative clothes, her box of art supplies, and her belief that everybody was an artist. Yes, Marisol was an artist through and through. So when her teacher told the class they were going to paint a mural for the library, Marisol couldn't wait to begin. The classroom buzzed with the sound of brainstorming. The students talked and sketched. Together they made a great big drawing. Then they marched to the library. I'll paint a fish. I'll paint one too. I'll paint the ocean. Marisol shouted. I'll paint the sky. Marisol rummaged through the box of paint, but could not find any blue. How am I going to make the sky without blue paint? Seems like our friend Marisol is in a little predicament here. She doesn't have any blue paint and she needs it to paint the sky. So right now she has to show some grit, right? She has to give it her all. She definitely can't give up. She has to ignore that. And she has to take her time and do it right. So let's see how she uses her grit throughout the story. The bell rang. It was time to put their brushes down for the day. As she climbed aboard the bus, Marisol kept wondering. All the way home, she stared out the window. The sun lowered close to the horizon. Later at home, Marisol watched the day turn into night. That night, Marisol settled into a deep dream. She drifted through the sky, swirling with colors. The colors mixed, making too many to count. In the morning, Marisol stood waiting for the bus in the rain. The sky was not blue. She smiled. At school, Marisol raced to the library. She grabbed a dish and began adding colors. This one, that one, she swirled the brush to make an altogether new color. Marisol then began painting on the wall. A boy asked, "What color is that?" "That?" Marisol said. "That is sky color." So as Marisol went through the story, she showed some grit there because she didn't have that blue paint. And instead of giving up, she ignored that and she came up with a new solution. It wasn't easy. It probably would have been easier for her to just say, I can't do the sky. I need blue. But she came up with a solution and used her grit to get that done. So I want you to think about the ways that you might have shown grit already this year. I know a lot of you have. And then I want you to think about the ways that maybe you're going to need to show it over the summer. School does not end when the summer begins. You're always learning and you're always going to create. So be sure that you're showing grit at those times. Keep reading and have a good summer, boys and girls.
Thank you so much for that lesson, Danielle, and we could definitely call that true grit. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who has made FSD TV possible. That is Pablo Diaz, Wes Creasel, and remember, my name is Mark Sonny, and this has been FSD TV.